I know in our sport sometimes we use courage and hero and bravery. Doesn't even compare to what you go through, the sacrifices you make.
Shelly, I love you, miss you, and should be home soon.
I just want to thank the troops for protecting our freedom.
To my wife, my family, my kids.
My mom, my little sister, my big sister.
Daddy loves you. I can't wait to get back home to you.
Appreciate everything you guys do for us over there.
And this is for you.
During tonight's telecast, we'll hear from troops overseas as they cheer on their hometown team.
Captain Dale Mitchell from Columbia, Missouri.
Specialist Jason Vaughn from Dexter, Missouri.
Specialist Jeremy Guess from New Madrid, Missouri.
The Cardinals are playing for you, our real heroes. We will never forget all that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This one's for you.
The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are St. Louis.
Live look at section 268 of the ballpark here at Busch Stadium. Those folks you see with the yellow shirts, this one's for you, family and friends of those that have been deployed to Afghanistan. Afghanistan troop, the 1138 Transportation Company. And yeah, they can even do the wave overseas as we get set for baseball here tonight. A very special night. This one's for you at Busch Stadium. It's game number one of a weekend set. The Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to the broadcast booth along with Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. I know this coat is very special to you, even on a hot night here in the Midwest.
Well, I went out to Jefferson Barracks, I guess sometime around March, and I met some of the 1138, and they gave me this jacket, so it's only respectful that I'm going to wear it here tonight. And thank you, gentlemen and gals, and more importantly, thank you for the job you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun here tonight. Let's head downstairs. And tonight's national anthem before our first pitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please rise for the singing of our national anthem. The color guard this evening is from Navy Recruiting District of St. Louis. And performing the anthem tonight is the Parkway Central Middle School Choir. They're under the direction of Jeff Lackey and Jeff Pottinger.
weekend series. Great starting pitching to start this series.
Well, Johnny Cueto leads the major leagues with a 2.05 ERA. His manager called this a must-win. It's also a rematch of the game July the 4th. Cardinals won that game 1-0 as Cueto had a complete game, but he was the loser. Carp, with brilliant 8 innings of pitching, he wins that ball game, and it's a repeat matchup of the July 4th game, and the Cardinals must win another series.
So the Cardinals begin 7.5 games out. Must win down the stretch, no doubt about it. The Plaza of Champions just outside of Busch Stadium. Send the troops your messages. We'll tell you how and show you how next. Even got a hungo, guys. Make sure you treat that with kid gloves. The hungo has made it to Afghanistan. And you can send your thanks to the troops or families via Twitter or text message. We'll show them on the air. Tweet your greeting to @FS Midwest with the tag TOFY or text your greeting to 432-432. Message and data rates apply. Special night. This one's for you. From Afghanistan to their friends and family here at the ballpark. This one's for you tonight. Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, Afghanistan, South Korea, and Japan. Welcome. Thank you for what you do.
Hello, my name is Staff Sergeant David Abashan. I'm based here in Bagram, Afghanistan. I want to say hello to my wife, Gina Abashan, and my kids, Lily and Jonathan, and to all my family that's in Florissant. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. And also to all my friends at Lindenwood University. Go Cardinals.
Beautiful night here in downtown St. Louis at Busch Stadium. It's game number 1. The Reds and Cardinals. Cardinals trying to make it 5 wins in a row and stay in the race. 7.5 games back, and Brandon Phillips looks at a strike and we're underway. Phillips moments ago greeted with boos. We think about the little confrontation that he had with Yadier Molina last year. Fans don't forget that.
Still public enemy number 1 as far as the Cardinal fans are concerned, but a good ball player.
Nasty breaking ball.
Carpenter's really had his way with Cincinnati. 14-2, and if you go and look at his last 14 starts versus Cincinnati, 12-1 with an ERA of 1.88.
It's 93 degrees, game time temperature. 7 for 48, 7 strikeouts for Phillips, and a check swing on that breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
Be real interesting to see how Carpenter's breaking ball is. If he has it locked in early in the game, it'll be very tough for the Reds.
If you're wondering, it's 4 in the morning over in Afghanistan, but I bet those troops would tell you they don't mind getting up early for this. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Remember last time we saw the Reds out, Phillips was hitting in the cleanup spot, and he's such a versatile player with speed and power in that combination.
Well, they've really had troubles trying to find a consistent leadoff man, and at first Brandon kind of resisted it, but now he's really trying to take it to heart.
2-2 is a foul ball. Just foul.
And Sonia is our third base umpire, and sure glad he wasn't looking through it at our eyes. Pretty good look right here. Does it go over the bag fair? It was turning foul, and it's where it goes over the bag, and third base umpire said foul ball. Thank you.
Should be a fun matchup here tonight. Reds, Cardinals, heated rivalry. Carpenter and Cueto. Doesn't get much better.
It's a rematch from the July 4th ball game where Carpenter was great, so was Cueto. It ended up a 1-0, 8 innings for Carpenter. He got the win, and Cueto pitched a complete game, 8 innings, and got the loss.
One of the great non-plays you'll ever see by a third baseman is Scott Rowland.
Scott Rowland.
Play at first that he made very close, and that's low.
And didn't it remind you that foul ball over the bag remind you of that play? As Scott Rowland was completely into foul territory, almost falling down when he threw across his body all the way to first base. Mark Hamilton, who hit it, slid head first, just bang bang play at first base, and the only run of the game scored on it.
On a cutter, a strikeout of Phillips. He chased it out of the zone, and a strikeout to start the game. Dusty Baker and his lineup: Phillips, Renteria, Votto, then Bruce, Alonso, Stubbs, Francisco, Hernandez, and the pitcher Johnny Cueto. How about Chris Carpenter? What can we expect tonight?
Well, he's got an extra day's rest, and he's had the great success, 14-2 against the Reds, and he really has the responsibility of setting the tone. Cardinals looking for their first 5-game winning streak of the season, and right now they need to win as many games as possible. So Tony sends his big ace out there, and it's up to Carpenter to pitch like he has in the past against the Reds.
1-0 pitch to Renteria. Now 2 balls and no strikes. Put it simply, if Milwaukee goes 12-12, they have 24 games left. The Cardinals have to go 20-5. Stranger things have happened.
Sure, and you got to go on a run like they did, early in the season, really in August.
But wouldn't it be interesting to be within 5 games of Milwaukee when they come to town after this weekend? Milwaukee is playing at Houston this weekend.
And you would think with that matchup, the Cardinals would be lucky if Houston could win 1 game. So you really do have to win as many as possible.
Every game's so important, and that's a walk to Renteria, first base runner of the night. Let's take a look at the Cardinals defense. Holiday, Jay, and Berkman in the outfield. It's Freeze, Percal, Terrio, and Pujols along the infield. And the battery is Carpenter and Yadier Molina. Shane Robinson, by the way, has been added to the roster for the Cardinals. Missed about 3 months in the minor leagues, but he does give the Cardinals some depth, especially defensively in the outfield. Here's Votto, the reigning MVP of the National League. Another good year, hitting .323, 26 home runs, 88 RBIs.
3 consecutive years of hitting over .320, having over 25 home runs, over 80 RBIs, and over 80 runs scored. He would do it 3 consecutive years, and they only had 6 seasons in their history of having a player having that type of numbers. And they sound great, but then you think about what Albert's done. Just to add the 300 batting average, add the, the 30+ home runs, 100 RBIs. Do that for 11 consecutive years, the first in Major League history.
1-1 pitch. Votto shoots it foul and out of play. See dispersed throughout the stadium those bright yellow shirts. Family and friends of those in Afghanistan in attendance here tonight, watching on Fox Sports Midwest. And again, that's section 268 here at the ballpark, and the signs are out. And that's when it gets to be a lot of fun for us, when the troops right now watch that shot and see family and friends that they haven't seen in months. Swing and a miss and a strikeout of Votto, and there's that nasty cutter again.
And that's an outstanding pitch. Votto's really been a nemesis for Carpenter, so good to get him early in the game. And Carpenter really needs to have that cutter for the left-handers. He's really been relying on that a lot more and throwing fewer curveballs. But he's always had the good velocity, throwing harder this year than he has in a few years, and he's off to a good start.
Again, you can tweet messages and text him at 432-432. Up the middle for Kyle to his left, and he makes the play. Cardinals coming up in their half of the first. Specialist Dwayne Ellis with the Cardinals starting lineup.
I'm specialist Dwayne Ellis, and first up to bat is the shortstop Rafael Furcal. Second to bat would be center field John Jay. Third is first baseman Albert Pujols. Left field Matt Holliday. Right field Lance Berkman. Third baseman David Freese. 7 is the catcher Yadier Molina. 8 is second baseman Ryan Theriot. And batting last will be the pitcher Chris Carpenter.
Now, Dwayne, make sure you stay, please, in the military, because that guy is going to take our jobs. That was one take. Right through it nice and free and easy, Al.
What does that mean, one take?
We don't know. Nice job, Dwayne Ellis. Very well done.
Hey, how about the job that Furcal has done? Last 2 games, a leadoff home run. Number 28 and 29 of his career. Leadoff home run. Can he do it 3 in a row?
Hard hit to first won't happen tonight. Votto will take it on the backhand, and there's one away. Defense behind Johnny Cueto tonight. Alonso, Stubbs, and Bruce in the outfield. Francisco, Renteria, Phillips, and Votto. And it's Cueto and Hernandez, the battery tonight for the Cincinnati Reds.
Cueto, he's got that Tiante warm-up, wind-up. And we saw it a little bit before, but it's even more like El Tiante. He's trading strikeouts for ground ball outs. That's why he's got that 2.05 ERA. And he will go after every hitter. You know, he has that type of stuff.
Up the middle. Renteria spins, fires, and out at first. Nice play by the former Cardinal, Edgar Renteria.
Outstanding play. I should have added that Cueto does the limbo pretty good. As this ball right back at him. He went down on his knees in an outstanding play by the old veteran, the old Iron Horse, Renteria. But Cueto, you think, charge that line drive.
Duck, here it comes.
You can see with that windup, he doesn't leave himself in a good fielding position. And he kind of stayed on his knees there for a second, trying to regroup.
And now it's Albert Pujols. Albert's having a little smile about Cueto and him hitting the deck. Pujols, what a season now. He has put up 292, 34 home runs, 84 driven in. And what a game yesterday. Couple of home runs and a grand slam.
5 RBIs on the day, getting him up to 84. So very realistic now. The 300 batting average and also the 100 RBIs.
Went 5 for 11 on that road trip. Pujols going into that ball game in Milwaukee this year was hitting well below 200. He and Berkman did not have very good numbers this season against Milwaukee, especially at their place.
Really, all 3. You know, put Holiday in there. He was by far hitting the best, but it was like 220 going into that series. And I'll tell you what, no pitcher takes the Cardinals' big 3 lightly.
Or should they?
Or should they?
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss and a strikeout of Pujols. We may be in store for a pitcher's duel here tonight. Reds and Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest.
I'm delighted you're able to cheer on our Cardinals tonight. I also want you and your families to know we are proud of our Missouri National Guardsmen protecting us and our freedoms. I hope you're enjoying the game. All of us look forward to your safe return home and to seeing you here again at Busch Stadium. And let's go Cardinals.
This one's for you. Continues tonight, top of the second. And the first pitch is fought off, hit down the left field line. It stays fair. That's Yonder Alonso. We've heard a lot about him over the last couple of years. Throw is just off line and a headfirst slide and in there safely.
One of the problems the Reds have with Alonso is where to play him.
First baseman by trade.
Yeah, his natural position is first base, but he's not going to play over Votto. And so they're trying him out in left field right now. But they say he can swing the bat a little bit, but trying to find a position for him other than first base is a little tough.
Now Drew Stubbs, and you mentioned it earlier, they're trying to get production at the top of their lineup. A real concern for the Reds with Stubbs, the amount of strikeouts that have piled up throughout the year.
You mean 180 is a little excessive?
A little excessive for any spot in the lineup. Showing bunt here, Molina goes to third, and everybody is safe. You could see him pointing for Freese to get back to the bag, and Yachty had to wait, and in doing so, Alonso safe at third.
I think you're exactly right. Yachty pounced on that ball, but for some reason David Freese did not anticipate the possibility that they would go to first. You see him kind of backpedaling, but he still was kind of 2 or 3 feet in front of the bag. It was a poor throw, but good thing it tangled up in the legs and didn't get by David, so no further advancement. But already with no outs, you find a little bit of a precarious situation for Carpenter.
It brings in Francisco. Runners at first and third, nobody out. Best opportunity of the ball game right here early on. That's ripped down the right field line, and that's a fair ball. One hops off the wall. Stubbs can really run. They're going to wave him in. And the relay is dropped, so 2-run score, and it's 2-0 Cincinnati. Francisco with RBIs 3 and 4, 2-0 Reds.
And Francisco was with the ball club earlier in the season, then went on the DL, and when he was recovered, they optioned to AAA. He was only 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter, very few starts. That's why his numbers, but he just jumps on this ball. He thought it might bounce out over the wall for ground rule double, but it doesn't. And here's a real troublesome. Terrio took his eye off it, tried to check the runner, and might have had a play. Stubbs runs extremely well, but once he dropped it, no play at all.
Ramon Hernandez with a runner at second base. Big gap in left center. I mean big.
I was told at around the trade deadline, the Giants went very hard after Hernandez. A couple scouts came in and said, we're not leaving until we take him with us. Had more than an hour discussion with Walt Jocketty, and they couldn't pry him from Dusty Baker and the Reds.
And now San Francisco had the fewest runs and base hits that they've had in the month of August in over 2 decades. So that's a team that has great pitching, but they have not picked up the kind of offense that they thought from Aaron Rowan, who was released, and so was Miguel Tejada.
There's Walt Jocketty, the former Cardinal general manager, and then let go by the Redbirds and went over to Cincinnati. He's done a fine job there, but neither team's where they'd like to be right now.
Last year, the executive of the year in the National League. 1-2 the count. Good breaking ball from Carpenter. You could see, though, watching him in the first inning and in this inning, still trying to find it. Speaking of Chris Carpenter and speaking of a rivalry, how about those two?
Doesn't matter where it was, Giant uniform, Cub uniform, or the Reds uniform. Had some altercations. Dusty and Tony.
Ground ball to short for Kyle. Makes the play. That'll bring the pitcher up with 1 out and a runner at third.
Didn't say altercation, you say confrontation.
Which did turn into an altercation. They got after it pretty good. Here's some boos.
Cueto was very much involved in one of those altercations, and really do still feel that he never really got his due penalty.
He did not.
Spike mark still on the back of Chris Carpenter. Jason LaRue basically prematurely ended his career with a concussion syndrome as Cueto was pinned up against the fence, and as a self-defense mechanism was using his steel spikes to try and extract himself from that tough pot. I mean, I'll guarantee you it probably was a scary place to be, but you don't use your spikes.
Maybe the most famous shot of that night is watching Jeff Suppan somehow, some way crawl out of that massive humanity behind home plate through somebody's legs. I think it was unbelievable.
I've been there before. You don't want to be at the bottom of a pile.
What, you, Hungo? You were in something like that?
A few times.
Want to know the count here on Cueto?
Some of my National Guard training.
I'm sure it came in handy. Ken Reitz will tell us you're the one that always started it, but never were in the middle of it.
Trust me, I was in the middle a few times.
1 ball, 1 strike. Want to tell our men and women overseas watching tonight, the 1138th Transportation Company in Afghanistan, when we head to break, make sure and don't turn away. We're going to be showing some of your family and friends, and hopefully you get a glimpse of a family member or a friend as we head to break. Strike 2 on Cueto.
That staff sergeant directed a little hello to you, didn't he? Now watch Cueto. As you see, he get pushed right up there and he's pinned. There's also Carpenter up there, but he gets extracted, and you know, Scott Rowland really tried to calm things down, but you see Cueto just kicking and
puts it in play slowly for Cowell. 2 away. The boos, that means one of 2 things, either Cueto or Phillips.
Cueto just made it out, so it's Brandon Phillips. One of Sports Illustrated's top 100 most influential Twitter handles at DatDudeBP. That's how you get a hold of Brandon.
Well, apparently he will respond if you have tweets, because when we were in Cincinnati, a young fan said, hey, why don't you come to my game?
And he did.
That afternoon he did. Good for him.
Yeah, and there's stories where I know one time, I believe they were in San Francisco, he doesn't drink, and he tweeted that I'm going to be in the lobby. Anybody wants to chat, you know, I'll be here for a while. And about 15 people showed up.
It's amazing. Apparently they say in the community too, he's just been tremendous with the fans of the Reds.
So every time you want to hate him, you hear those kind of stories and you say, good ball player too on top of it.
Absolutely. Big gap in left center. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Struck out his first time up. We showed you his numbers. Only 7 hits against Carpenter in his career. Low average. Chased a cutter out of the strike zone back in the first inning.
He was an all-star again. Last 2 seasons he's been on the all-star team. Wednesday he had his 13-game hitting streak snapped, and he was batting .429 during that time. Dusty Baker said we were just flat out blown away by Philadelphia.
Phillies' first 4-game sweep in Cincinnati since back in 1916.
16?
16.
Yeah, not 60, 16.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball lifted into left center field. Will it stay in the ballpark? It will. It's off the wall. 3-0. Jay over to get it. Brandon Phillips on a 1-2 pitch makes it 3-0 Reds.
'74th RBI, but remember a lot of that was in the middle of the the lineup, damage spots, clean up, and but get your attention for a leadoff guy now. Kind of a hanging breaking ball. Didn't get far enough away, just hung on the inner part of the plate, and he just turned on it. Hit it out there in the gap where the Budweiser sign is.
Now Renteria. Off the end of the bat, foul. Renteria walked on 4 pitches, first time up. MVP of the World Series a year ago.
All Jockey knew about Renteria and his leadership. He's been on 2 World Series championship teams, MVP last year, and go back to a younger version with a 97 with the Marlins. He got the game-winning hit.
That one at bat kind of sums up his career. Money player. Winning base hit against the Cleveland Indians. And he's always had good numbers, it seems like, in postseason play, or has come up big. Reaching for it, little floater, and Pujols can't get it. Phillips scores. It's 4-0 Reds. That comes on an 0-2 pitch. 4 hits in the inning allowed by Carpenter and 4 runs.
Before we had this run of winning 4 games straight, we had a streak of starting pitchers having 1 bad inning. Hopefully the Cardinal offense can overcome this bad inning by Carpenter. Renteria's 30th RBI, bringing up Votto, who is very tough. Came in with over 400 batting average against Carpenter.
And that is hit into right. Berkman over, won't get it. Drops in for a hit. Renteria on his way to third. 5 base hits allowed by Carpenter here in the second inning.
Little cutter, but not far enough in. Just left it down and in. Well, that ball's got to be further in to be effective. Preferably up above the hands of a left-handed batter.
Carpenter was not overly sharp in his last start over the weekend. That was against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The only loss the Cardinals suffered in that 4-game set. And that was on the heels of a terrific start, 99 pitches, and was lifted in the game, and controversial move by Tony La Russa. You see 36 pitches so far tonight.
And when do you see Carpenter with this late in the season, 1 game below 500?
And that's taken low by Jay Bruce. And that's pulled foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bruce grounded out to short first time up. This year with runners in scoring position, hitting .297.
Last time Carpenter really had problems. You know, he's always been such a big winner wearing the Cardinal uniform. It was 2001 with Toronto when he was 11-11.
You have to wonder how many teams called John Mozeliak about the services of Chris Carpenter. Teams that were headed to postseason play, and there's another base hit. 5-0. They will bat around here in the second inning against Carpenter.
Carpenter is still a good pitcher, but he's not the great pitcher he was a few years ago. And another pitch just in the middle of the plate. Not really hitting his spots. Derek Lilliquist out to pay a visit. Derek Lilliquist, the Cardinals bullpen coach, but in the absence, as Dave Duncan has taken a leave of absence to attend to his wife Janine, who I saw Chris Duncan today, and I understand, I think next week she's going to be going to Duke University for some rehabilitation.
You see Carpenter last 3 years, 09, 17-4, 16-9 a year ago, and this season 8-9 as he's closing in on 200 innings. Five-run lead for Cincinnati, and they've got one of their best going tonight in Cueto. Bottom of the second, Milwaukee and Houston are scoreless.
And hitting becomes contagious. And if you don't do anything to tell the hitters that, okay, enough's enough, you got to send a little message that, okay, I'm going to start. It's over. The party's over, and take control of this game.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1-2. 2 outs, runners at first and second. Again, we'll show those families and many of the friends that are here in attendance of our servicemen and women watching tonight in Afghanistan as we head to break. 1-2 pitch inside. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what you have to do. You just throw it inside and just kind of get the respect back. Make hitters not run up to the batter's box. Make them put a little fear in them. Don't have to hit them necessarily, but you do have to work in.
2-2. Ground ball to second. Big inning here for the Reds. 6 hits, 5 runs. 5-0 Cincinnati. As we move to the bottom of the second here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, 93 degrees our game time temperature. And we want to remind you that tomorrow against the Reds, it's Budweiser Beer Stein here at the ballpark. First 25,000 fans ages 21 and older receive that Beer Stein. And for tickets, visit Cardinals.com. That's tomorrow. Still good seats available for only $15 in some of the best areas of the ballpark. Part of dynamic pricing. Should tell you a little bit more about the 170 soldiers of the 1138th Transportation Company as Holiday takes a ball inside. They're headquartered at historic Jefferson Barracks, South St. Louis County. In Afghanistan, the soldiers of the 1138th use heavily armored equipment, provide convoy security, supply distribution to coalition forces. And right now they are up early in Afghanistan. It's about 5 o'clock there now. Inside.
There's a beer stein.
Budweiser Beer Stein that fans will get tomorrow.
10-time world championships. You see the years down at the base. Nice looking item.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. And that's outside to Holiday. Well, tonight we're showing this game without commercial enhancements in our telecast. I'd like to thank all of our loyal and gracious sponsors for allowing us to bring this game to you and our troops all over the world. Thank you very, very much. Here's Lance Berkman. It's an out of play. Well, you get to the final month of the season, Al, and you start thinking a little bit about next year, obviously, and what needs to be done. So many question marks concerning the Cardinals. First and foremost, re-signing Pujols, but you'd also love to see this guy come back, too.
I think John Mozeliak.
There's a base hit into right field.
Has already decided that, yes, priority one is Pujols, but there's some other things that he can take care of in the meantime. You know, pick up the options on Wainwright. You know, they've already, both Berkman would like to come back, so would, you know, and Berkman and the Cardinals would like to have him back. You could come to a deal with him before. Now you see Adam, who was good to see him on the road trip. Not only to participate in the football fantasy draft, but he did do a little throwing on flat ground. It was good to kind of see him back in a little bit of action.
2 on, and here's David Freese.
And the Texas Rangers were one of the clubs that were highly interested before the deadline to where you set your rosters on August 31st for your postseason. Texas Rangers wanted to get Berkman, and Berkman was pretty flat out and said, I've been a rental player. I don't want to be a rental player. If you trade me, I won't come back. And that was enough for the Cardinals to say, okay,
yeah.
Deal's over.
He has been terrific in the clubhouse. We've talked about that since day one. He's doing a lot of that. A lot of smiling.
Yeah.
Keeping it loose. Freeze, base hit into right. Here comes Holiday. They'll wave him in. Cardinals get on the board. That makes it a 5-1 game.
David Freese drives in Holiday, who reached base on a walk. David already career highs in home runs and RBIs. He's got that inside out stroke. Naturally, his power is to right center, so he plates his 45th RBI being Holiday. And the Cardinals are going to say, okay, Chris, you've been our stud. You had a rough inning, but we're going to get you back in this ball game. The pitcher's duel may not materialize like you thought.
Yeah. Here's Molina. Skies one to right, not a play. But the year Molina has had at the plate, 297 average, career high in home runs at 12. He's driven in 51 this season. Oh, 2. What you get concerned about in this spot, double plays. Cardinals have hit into a bunch this year, and you think about that when Molina's in this type of situation.
He's also can hit the ball to the right side, and with Votto, the first baseman, holding on Freeze, a lot of hitting room to the right. Now you do have a Gold Glove second baseman out there. One thing about Cueto is once people get on base, he can really slow it down.
Let's see if he even comes to a pause, too, by the way, when he comes set.
A lot of time, everyone will slow down a little bit because they're in a jam, but some guys take it to an extreme.
And then there's the Yankees and Red Sox.
That is just slow motion.
Yes. Yachty pulls it foul. I mean, those games on average, Al, are about 4 hours. 9-inning games.
Dan, we had a 2-1 game in Milwaukee that was 3 hours and 12 minutes. And I know what you're talking about between the Yankees and Red Sox. And Major League Baseball has tried to warn them, tried to get them to speed up. Can't be all about, they both are very patient at the plate and take a lot of pitches.
Molina hits it too short. Little bobble and safe at first. Beats it out, and it's 5-2.
Molina's been running harder down the first base line this season than we've seen. And he avoided, gets an RBI with the ground out. Molina's up to 52 RBIs now. And here's the difference. Came up on Renteria a little bit, had to roll up his wrist. Little delay in getting to his second baseman allows Molina, who was chugging hard down the first base line, to be safe.
I know you love to see that hustle, though.
Never get tired of seeing hustle. You never embarrass yourself if you hustle.
Here's Ryan Theriot, strike one.
How many years we've been doing this? Started telecasting to Iraq, probably 5, 6.
I think it was in 2005 because Boston was in town. And I remember that being the year after the World Series matchup. And a lot was made of it, obviously, with Boston coming to St. Louis and people excited to see that. So I think it's been since 05. We love doing it.
Sure do. And to see those families, and you just get emotional. See those kids, and maybe their dad or mom is getting a chance to see them, a little taste of home. Something very special. Where's Cody at?
Runner goes on a 3-1 and a foul tip. 3-2. Now, we do not have the feed up right now, but our guys in the truck do have the feed of the soldiers in Afghanistan. They say they're pointing and cheering right now, seeing this. They have a chance to see many of their family and friends. He said, "There's my wife," if you didn't hear it. Runners at first and second. We'll keep showing the families. You will hear our voices. It's a 6-second delay. We thank them very much for their service and everything they do for us. Transportation Company, Missouri National Guard, and Afghanistan watching tonight. 6-second delay from our feed to Afghanistan. Thank you so much for what you do. And make sure you take care of Al's bobblehead. We need to know where that is too. They had that earlier.
It's bobblehead Friday night. Wonder who will get it this night.
They're getting the bobblehead
yeah,
right now.
they're trying to find it. No, the one guy has a bobblehead.
Yeah.
There he is.
There's a bunt. Nobody's at third. Carpenter to first, and he is out.
Got a ball game now if we get a base hit.
Well, this is a big at bat right here. You
really
don't get
is.
many chances against Johnny Cueto, and the Cardinals will have second and third for Rafael Furcal.
Perfect bunt by Carpenter, just not the gifted runner. Cueto took enough time right there and allowed them to get way down the line. Think he's going to get there, but then gunned him out.
That's all right. You can put that thing down. I got to see it every week.
I wonder if they realize that they're messing with a Hungarian admiral.
And that's up and in to Furcal.
Cal's not afraid to pitch inside, and right now, as you said, he may be waking up for Cal. Base hit right now, possibly scores 2.
9 assists the other night for Rafael Furcal. He was all over the place.
Boy, he had a strong game. You know, he had that leadoff home run, and then he had another hit in that game, but it was the defense that was such a difference maker.
And now we're starting to see, now that he's getting extended playing time, he's healthy, his bat is starting to come alive, and you're getting a glimpse of the player that we've seen the last few years.
Now, there's a very expensive option, which doubtful you would pick up like a $12 million option. But, you know, I think he's enjoying it here. He feels very comfortable here that maybe something could be worked out. He definitely has made an improvement on the defensive side. And when he was younger, he was one of the most exciting players in the game.
Think about his arm, and we've been, you know, watching this here last few weeks. That arm of Furcal, Tulowitzki has a great arm, but there's not many better at short than that arm that we see from Furcal. Do you agree?
I agree. And as you were talking about the injuries, he missed 63 games with a broken left thumb and then a oblique muscle strain. So, I mean, that takes you know, with broken thumb, you really kind of get your timing. And like you say, he's playing himself right back in to swinging the bat well.
Here's a 3-1 pitch for Cowell. Good rip, fouled it back. 95 miles an hour, and it's a full count at 3-2. Pretty good speed at second base in Terrio. There's Molina over third. This would be big here, base hit. John Jay on deck. 2 outs and a 3-2 pitch for Cowell. Bouncer to second base. Phillips makes the play. The Cardinals, though, get on the board, and it's 5-2 as we step aside. He's with us, and his wife Sarah, also in the Missouri National Guard, is being deployed. We understand, is that next week?
She's actually, her going away ceremony was on Tuesday of this week.
Tuesday of this week.
So she's
okay.
in the latter half of her training, and then she'll be deploying with 1 SB6 to Egypt for a peacekeeping mission.
And Drew sent a taped message to Sarah last year for our postgame show, and it was so emotional. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was blown away by Fox Sports Midwest and what they were able to do, and then at the beginning, I had been behind the scenes, all of it. And at the beginning, what they wanted me to do was just say something to your wife. And I was like, what do you want me to say? Because at that point, I wasn't on camera anything. And they said, just say something from the heart. And so I spoke. And I was pretty blown away by what she had done up to this point with our children and the house and everything. And so I was just so grateful. And I was so tired. I'd been up for almost 2 days at that point, getting everything ready. And I couldn't believe that I was actually getting to talk to my wife.
And I think one of the things that we want to emphasize to the troops that are over there is that, you know, hey, you're going to come back here, you're going to come back safely. Exactly. And this is a little taste of heaven, baseball heaven. And what was it like when you were sitting there in those seats that they are representing today?
Well, I feel their joy at being able to just be normal. You get to watch a baseball game. And you get to watch your home team. I mean, the Cardinals are a force no matter how they're doing, they're always a force in the league. And I mean, you got 10 states that root for the Cardinals.
So you taped the message, and when did you find out or hear about her response after seeing that?
You know, the funny thing is AFN only does the game. They only have the rights for the game.
Network.
Correct.
Okay.
So I didn't see it. I didn't see it until I got home in January. Then,
but I'm sure you had a phone call or maybe email, that kind of thing.
We definitely had email, and she was very, very emotional. And I had 100 people TiVo it for me, and so everywhere I went, they were like, "Watch this." So
here's a ground ball to second. What would be the message that you would, and just expound on this a little bit more? What would you say to those men and women that are tuned in tonight, watching from the heart? A guy that's been there. What would you say to them right now?
I'd say, guys, we all love you. You're doing a great job. We know the Missouri National Guard, the Army, we're the most professional force in the world, and we know you're coming home safe. And so just trust in your families that they love you and they're here for you.
What does something like this do for morale over there?
I know what it did for my morale, and I can speak to that. I was blown away by the outpouring of love from the families, and in my position, I was able to bring that to the families. And so bring it to the families and the soldiers there. And so I just saw the joy every time somebody would see a text message from one of their family or see their family shown on the screen. So it was very heartwarming.
And let's maybe explain what the 1138th Transportation Company does, because in one sense it sounds like it's not dangerous, but we know that is a very dangerous mission.
In my first deployment, I was in a route clearance company, and they searched for IEDs. And that's who we were over there with, the 203rd. If you remember from last year, that's what they did. They searched for IEDs. Well, these guys don't search for them, but they unfortunately find them because they travel the roads. They're a medium truck company. What they do is...
Explain what an IED is, if somebody doesn't know.
It's an improvised explosive device. It's a homemade bomb, usually in Afghanistan, buried under the road. Wow. And they drive up and down these dangerous roads.
First of all, clarify, there aren't really roads there, are there?
Well, right. The first danger that they face is the fact that they're...
Hold on one sec. Can you hold that thought?
I can't. Thanks.
We're going to go to a quick break, but we want to make sure that we get the message out. Some more shots of the family and friends. Stay right here, and we'll be back with more baseball coming up on Fox Sports Midwest.
good Missouri football season. Go Tigers.
Mizzou.
Mizzou football returns tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest. Miami of Ohio and Mizzou tomorrow at 11. You know that gentleman that we just heard from.
Well, I kind of know him. My wife is deploying, like I said, to Egypt with the Sinai mission and the peacekeeping mission. And one of the people she's deployed with is related to PFC Stegman. So, I mean, Guard's such a small family. We're all either related or we know each other. So
let's finish up the story of explaining what these gentlemen and the men and women of this group what they're doing.
Well, the first danger of what they do is they drive on the roads, and like you said, Al, there aren't really no good roads. I mean, the good roads are from Kabul to Bagram, and that's about it. The rest is mountainsides, and up where they are around Bagram is very mountainous, and so you may be driving a truck on a road that's not wide enough, and they just do it. So they're amazing at their jobs. And then obviously there's the Easter eggs out there that they hopefully never find.
Wow.
Easter eggs, interesting terminology.
Yeah, that's the real nice way to put it. A little bit more about, you mentioned that your wife has been deployed. Obviously, you've done it a couple of times, you said.
Right.
There is a base hit up the middle for John Jay. How many kids do you have?
Two, and they're here with me.
How do you handle that family life, and how do your children deal with it too?
Well, my wife and I have the best kids in the world. We just do. They're smart. They're caring. So they get it. They understand what we do. They know the meaning of sacrifice because they've had me go away twice and her go away twice. And I mean, they know the meaning of sacrifice. It's an amazing lesson that they get to learn at a young age. So when it comes time for them, their hand will go up, and that's really all I can ask as a father.
I'm just almost tearing up. You know, you hear these stories, but it's just, I almost feel guilty because I was in the reserves during, in the early 70s. Went in 1970, and it was truly the joke weekend warrior back then, but no longer.
Here's a bouncer, and pass went to Rhea. Tying run will come to the plate in Matt Holliday.
It's like when it was a weekend warrior type thing. It was amazing, but now it's such a professional group that is trained so hard, and they're the civilian soldiers on top of it. You got a civilian life, and you have this commitment that you've made. And Albert just bounces this one hard enough to find the hole and get through Renteria. For the Cardinals, even though they're down, they're not going to give up. They're going to keep on pushing.
Why did you and your wife decide to do this?
Well, my wife and I actually met in the military. I had joined the Army right out of high school 20 years ago. And I was at Fort Bragg, jumped out of planes, did all my crazy stuff, and then joined the National Guard. And it was, once a month, 2 weeks a year. And then 9/11 happened, and the whole world changed. I mean, not just America, but every life in America changed on that day. Every life in the world changed on that day. And I remember I worked for Edward Jones still, and I was sitting at work watching it on television, and I get a phone call from my unit, which was a unit I met then Lieutenant Melchard in, and the world changed. And then I went to Iraq a couple years later, and then 5 years after that, I go to Afghanistan, and it's wonderful to see people that have enlisted since 9/11 knowing what the cost is. I mean, for me, it was maybe.
Well, down here in the field, I had the swearing in of the 53rd consecutive year. It happened to be a Navy group. Every year we have the Army, Navy. I think we even had the Coast Guard this season, but you can't thank an all-volunteer Army, and then, like you say, you've already had your commitment, and then you still make a further commitment to get into the reserves.
Well, and, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the fact that families suffer. I mean, but they suffer quietly, but they suffer with pride. It's not a suffering as you normally think of suffering and pain. It's a suffering of longing, but they're so proud that it almost is enough to fill that void. And I finally know what that is. I've always been the one that goes. And now I know. I know what it is to be dad, mom, and everything. I mean, I was up at 5 o'clock this morning doing laundry.
How old are your kids?
11 and 10. So they're totally self-sufficient. They make their own lunches and breakfasts and stuff. But I still do dinner, and that's my big thing. And You know, so I have amazing kids. I'm blessed, but I don't know what I would do if I had a newborn. And thank goodness I have my mom and my family around. And
what can we, the Cardinal fans, Cardinal Nation, what can we do to help out?
Oh, wow, that's a great question, Al. I'm glad you asked. Families really cherish, because everybody tells me when I'm wearing a uniform, thank you so much. But like, my wife is also in, so we both get it. But very rarely do you say to the wife or the husband or just the spouse left at home, like these wonderful people on TV, these families, rarely do people just go up to them and say, thank you for what you're doing. Because it's really harder to be home because you have all daily life. I mean, think about all the stuff that you do on a daily basis. You pay bills, you go to the grocery store, you wash your car, you do the laundry, you make sure your kids do their homework. I mean, just all the stuff that normally a couple or a family does together, and you're doing it by yourself on your own. So the fact that they step up as well, being in the Guard or being in the military at all.
Berkman with a base hit into right. Run will score. Pujols on his way to third, and that makes it a 5-3 game.
You really do have the best view in the world up here.
Don't tell anybody we're stealing. We've been doing it for a while, too.
This is the best view in the world.
We love it.
Oh, some great guys right there. What I was saying, though, is the families make the biggest sacrifice. When you're over there, you have your job, and obviously there's danger, but you're really mission focused. I mean, 24 hours a day, you can focus on really one thing, and it makes it go faster. It makes it go easier. I was traveling all over Afghanistan, so it made it really go fast. Back here, it does seem to drag. It's only been a month for me with my wife in training, and it seems like it's been 6.
Could be a double play ball out at second and out at first. Double play ball, and Berkman makes it a 5-3 game. Can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's the Coca-Cola Pasta House Cardinals Pennant Day. Cardinals.com for tickets. This time of year, you have scoreboard watch, and it's no score. Milwaukee and Houston. That's in the bottom of the 4th. 5-3 here at Busch Stadium. And a grounder that's hit to short. Drew Ishmael. Gentleman that was just in the booth. Very well spoken, and can't thank him enough for his service, his wife, their family, and what they've done, and these families and the friends of the soldiers in Afghanistan. You see pictured here.
like you said, you know, somebody's in there looking and say, there's my family, there's my wife, a little taste of home. And I thought it was very interesting that he said that, you know, it's tougher on the ones that are back here. And you can understand that when he explains it, you know, because you got a job to do, you've trained, you have the best equipment in the world, and you just, as a collective group, you know, the 1138th or whatever company we're talking about gets their job done, and the ones at home are always worried.
Just hear him describe the job that they've been asked to do. Sends chills, doesn't it?
They talk with pride.
Here's Phillips, who has an RBI double back in the second inning. He's also struck out. He's on a 2-strike pitch, hanging breaking ball, and he drilled it into left center field. Notice the center fielder tonight for the Cardinals, John Jay, shading him a bit to right center, also fairly shallow for a guy like Phillips. That's what he struck him out on, that cutter that we've seen can be so effective from Carpenter. 1-2.
Not just the second inning, things got away from Carpenter, but his offense is creeping back into this ball game. Just hope that Carpenter could just mow him down a little bit and let the offense keep on charging.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Houston's taking a 1-0 lead. Milwaukee really is not scoring the runs like they were earlier, but they have that exceptional pitching. They can win low-scoring games.
As crazy as this sounds, Al, if they indeed make it to postseason play and eliminate the Cardinals, might be in their best interest to have a little bit of a race here down the stretch, trying to keep that edge. Teams lose it. We've seen that before.
Well, and from the Cardinals standpoint, they just want to get close enough to where they put a little pressure on them, see how they handle it. A lot of players in the Cardinals are well battle tested. You know, they've been in these pennant drives, you know, before, and it takes a lot out of you, especially the first time you threw it.
2 away, and it brings in Renteria. Specialist Jason Vaughn, who is there, and he's going to see this message momentarily.
Jason's popular. Hear that?
Neat stuff.
That crawl, that later one said, you know, we ought to thank all the veterans' families. That's absolutely true. Everyone that's served, and whether you've served or your loved ones have served, you're so special in this country. What makes it so great.
2 outs and a 1-0 pitch to Joey Votto. Votto tonight 1 for 2 with a base hit and a strikeout. Still a long way to go in this game. What we thought may be a pitcher's duel, well, we haven't seen that. 12 hits combined and 8 runs. One pitch and a ground ball to the right side. Handled easily. Carpenter starting to settle in. It's 5-3.
of the 1138th Transportation Company, Missouri National Guard from Jefferson Barracks, as well as friends and family from the Agricultural Development Team 5, both currently stationed in Afghanistan. Here's to the heroes who serve our country and the heroes who proudly serve by taking care of business at home, allowing others.
There's Yadier Molina with a high fly ball. That was moments ago between innings here at Busch Stadium. Lieutenant Colonel Terry Oswald is with us. He is the battalion commander of the 311th Brigade Support Battalion. The 1138th, which you've seen on TV, is in that battalion. And first and foremost, Terry, thanks for being with us and your service. We appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, Terry, the first thing I see is an airborne patch.
No, I'm not airborne.
Okay.
The unit I was attached to in Iraq was an airborne unit.
And now you have your 1138 that's over there, and last year they were over there also. So how long has they been deployed?
They just left a few months ago. There was another 1138. That was
okay,
over
that's what I mean. So your group is split up the last couple of years.
It was another. It was an MP unit that was there last year.
Okay.
But you know the young men and women that are over there right now that we have pictured on television, correct?
Yes, sir, I do. Those are my troops.
Exactly. What would you like to say to them?
I just want to tell the guys in 1138th and the ADT5 to be careful, and we miss you, and come home safe.
What does something like this do for them? And this is a little floater out to center field, 2 outs. Something like this where they get maybe a chance to see the messages that are on the bottom of the screen, family and friends. What's that do for them?
You know, they don't get to see their family very often. You know, they get to talk sometimes on the computers, and they get to send emails back and forth, but they don't get to physically see them. And this is one way for them to view their families out there. It's a very special time to do that.
Tell us about these gentlemen right here.
That was the First Sergeant Wendell. How you doing, Top? That was...
Go ahead. Finish your story.
That's First Sergeant Wendell and some of the guys from the 1138th. And I hope they're doing well over there. I get emails from the commander, Captain Melcher, regularly tell me what they're doing, and they're doing fantastic things over there.
And Dan, that first sergeant, he runs the show.
Yes, he does. He's a top senior enlisted guy out there.
Here is Carpenter. Hits it out of play. You served in Iraq 2 tours, 05 and 06, and again 07, 08.
Yes, sir.
What's it like to be back home?
It's wonderful to be back home.
I bet.
But, you know, you got to give credit to the families out there, because they are doing a heck of a job keeping the families back here safe, so the soldiers can do their job in the country and not have to worry.
When will that particular group come back home that we see pictured tonight?
Next spring.
Next spring, okay.
They look good over there, don't they?
They do. Does it bring back some memories for you of these guys when training and whatnot?
Oh, yeah, they worked really hard. They were a different type of truck company, and they've had to change the type of trucks they drive, as well as the up-armored vehicles of driving in country. So they had a lot of training they had to do prior to going. And they did a fantastic job of getting their soldiers trained on the vehicles and the equipment so they'd be safer going down the road.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Carpenter. Breaks his bat. And barehanded by Phillips, makes the play. Lieutenant Colonel Terry Oswald, thank you so much.
Appreciate you letting me fun.
You bet. Tonight station in Afghanistan sent over a tape message. His wife is in the crowd tonight, wishing her a happy birthday. Here is Jay Bruce, 5'3", Cincinnati.
Talking about Jay Bruce, he's really got that left elbow so high, and it's really slowed down his approach to the plate. Still a young man, 28 home runs, and see how that back elbow so high, then it makes his swing a lot longer.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Jay Bruce here, and then we'll see Alonso and Stubbs.
National League Player of the Month for May was Jay Bruce, 342, 12 home runs, 33 RBIs.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And a grounder that's pulled foul. Again, if you just tuned in tonight, televising back to Afghanistan, troops for the Missouri National Guard. They're up in the wee hours of the morning in Afghanistan to watch this game.
Well, the first sergeant will probably let him take the day off.
I don't think so.
See the reaction.
Here's a 2-2. Off the end of the bat. Well hit, center. And John Jay makes the catch. Fox Sports Midwest is showing this game without commercial enhancements. I'd like to thank all of our loyal and gracious sponsors for allowing us to bring this game to you, and our troops all over the world. Here's Alonso and looks at a breaking ball and a strike.
La Russa wanted to have Carpenter, Garcia, and Edwin Jackson pitch against the Reds, trying to keep them at bay. And Dusty Baker, you know, after they lost 4 straight to the Phillies, he comes in here and really had the goal that we want to win as many games as we can. We'll try and get to 500, and then we're going to chase down the Cardinals. But after that 4-game shellacking, they kind of seems like he was playing all of his veterans the last few days and everything, and now we're starting to see some of the future. They're playing some of the youngsters right now, which, you know, probably Dusty doesn't really want to do that. He wants to go win as many games as possible. Edwin Jackson outstanding in Milwaukee. He'll be pitching Sunday.
Really looked good last time out. Had command of that breaking ball. Talk about Edwin Jackson, and you know he's got a good arm, live fastball, and he's probably making himself a bunch of money.
Oh, that's it. I mean, be a free agent after this season, and you love his power arm. Now, consistency is part of the game, and he's not always consistent, but Ron Renicky, who's seen an awful lot of Edwin Jackson, said it was the best he's ever seen him throw that game against Milwaukee.
You know, you look at his stuff, and he's a young man, and you think if you're an organization, let's get him with our guys. We can get him straightened out.
Well, that's why maybe been with 6 different teams.
Yep.
But then you get a little frustrated because of the lack of consistency. But as you said, he's still a young guy and a very good athlete. He got the game-winning hit in that 2-1. Yep. I was talking to him before his start, and he's a guy that will talk before he starts, and he was talking with McKay and said, you know, how do I have that front foot? He was more concerned about his hitting than anything about pitching.
2-2. This is inside. 3-2 the count with one down, nobody on. 5-3 Cincinnati here in the top of the fifth. Astros lead it 2-0 over Milwaukee. That's in the top of the fifth. As a player, how do you not scoreboard watch if you're down in that dugout? Human nature.
Anybody says they don't do it is not telling you the truth.
3-2 pitch. Strike out for Chris Carpenter. And now he's starting to settle in a little bit. And a week from tonight, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older receive a gray and pink knit scarf courtesy of Coca-Cola and Schnucks. And that scarf features the iconic Cardinals birds on the bat and supports breast cancer awareness. For more information, visit cardinals.com/promotions.
Carpenter's retired 8 of the last 9. The only man he did not retire was his second walk to Renteria.
Here's a ground ball. Freeze quickly to first, and Drew Stubbs is retired. Some more families as we head to break here on Fox Sports Midwest.
Bagram, Afghanistan. I want to do a shout out to my wife Dina and my sons Jonathan and Robert. Today's her birthday. I'd like everyone to help me wish her a happy birthday. Thank you. Go Cardinals.
And Dina Wendell is in the booth with us, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Are you holding it together?
Oh yeah, I can do it.
How long have you been married?
18 years.
18 years. How old are your kids?
I have a 13-year-old son, a 29-year-old son, a 30-year-old daughter, and a 31-year-old daughter.
You know, your husband is watching tonight.
Yeah. Hi.
There he is. What would you like to say to your husband?
I love you. I miss you. Come home safe.
There's about a 6-second delay, and maybe we can see her husband. And
Hey dear, I love you. I'll be home safe. Don't you worry. See you later.
Thank you.
Are your kids here tonight?
Yes, they are.
And tell us a little bit about what the night has been like, and tell not just your husband, but the rest of the troops over there what this has been like tonight.
It's been really, really, really good. A very good showing of everybody. We all miss you and support everybody, and it's really been a really, really good 50th birthday.
The big 5-0.
Yes.
Well, women know. I'm going to make you laugh now. They normally don't say
Best
I'm
part
50.
is getting to see him.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, you don't look 50. How about that?
Thank you.
I had you pegged for about 27 or 28. So.
Oh, come on, flattering. I'll never get you. best part was seeing my husband, though.
This is ripped out to deep right. Happy birthday, you bet. It's a home run. Rafael Furcal, and it's 5-4. That adds to the birthday, doesn't it? Where are you guys from?
Holt Summit, Missouri.
Cardinal fans?
I am now.
How about your husband?
He is a little bit. My 13-year-old son really is.
Awesome. There's the home run for Cal, the replay, and that is his 6th of the year. That makes it 3 games in a row and a home run for Rafael Furcal. When was the last time in person that you saw your husband?
February, no. May. Last part of May.
So it's been a long time, been months.
Yeah, they left June 11th. So.
How are you able to communicate? What do you guys do? A lot of email? Can you do phone calls?
We email, we talk on the phone. Mostly email because the internet's not really good over there, but so mostly emails, but we talk 2-3 times a week sometimes.
Well, I'm going to let you talk to him right now. What would you like to say to him outside of I love you, because I know you already did that, but go ahead and talk to your husband.
Oh, I don't know what to say. You put me on the spot.
Well, don't worry. There's only about 1 million people watching.
Oh, great.
No, I'm just joking. Come on. Have this time and talk to your husband.
How about you start it off? Can you hear me?
He's on delay, so you have to start.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little delayed, about 6 seconds.
So how's it
Yes, I hear you. Hey, I seen you in the stands. You're doing. You got Jonathan looks real good. I seen Bobby and both of you.
He's grown up, hasn't he? Can you hear me?
Oh, he will.
You look really great. You look really good.
You've grown up a lot.
You can see the delay a little bit there, so that's why you have that. The special night. And again, for those of you that have just tuned in, it's the soldiers of the 1138th Transportation Company, headquartered at historic
in 91.
Jefferson Barracks in South St. Louis County. And yes, there is a delay. It's about 6 to 8 seconds now. And here is Albert Pujols with a runner at first. And it's your birthday present. And why don't you show the sign that you made for your husband and the troops back home? Very nice. He's really getting good. It right now.
This has been the best birthday.
Here's the next pitch to Pujols. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I can't stop crying. I don't know what
I don't think I can top this birthday.
It's like the roses you sent me on our 11th anniversary, remember? He sent me roses last time he was there on our anniversary.
I remember the roses.
Oh. Those are the best roses I've ever got. You're going to have to work really hard to up this one.
Is this the first time you have seen him? I mean, are you able to Skype or do any of those kind of things?
We tried once. We tried once. We tried once, and it didn't work very well. It was.
Well, I'm going to ask your husband a question here. I'll ask your husband a question. What would you like to say to your kids?
I really miss my sons, and I miss my grandkids. Can't wait to get home, be home there in February, be able to see everybody. So it's going to be a while, but it'll go fast.
Well, I've got to tell you, your wife's 50 and looking pretty good. Let's get a reaction out of that one.
Yeah, she looks real good.
You're my husband. You're supposed to say that.
Now the guys are hearing it too.
Just leave her alone.
What would your boys be saying? Do you have a message from your kids and your grandkids for him right now?
Yeah, actually, my youngest granddaughter the other day, or not youngest, but second youngest, goes, "When is my grandpa coming home?" And she just wants to know. They've got birthday wishes out to him because his birthday is this month also.
Yeah.
He turns 57.
You didn't have to say that. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, this is my last deployment.
Yes.
Pujols hits it out to left. And John Jay will stop at third. Now, I would imagine that's got to be music to your ears to hear that this is his last deployment.
Yeah, we've been going through this a lot. This is our third time we've gone through this. You never get used to it, but you just learn how to adapt to it. But it'll be nice to have him home all the time, not leave it all the time. It'll be really nice.
We had some of the soldiers, one soldier up here previous that said it might be hardest on the families, more so than even the soldiers that are in Afghanistan, Iraq, wherever they're deployed, because of their business-like duty to the country. But for us, it's very, very tough. Can you explain what you go through on a daily basis, what it's like?
Well, I just keep everything as normal as possible. I just handle each thing that comes along every day the best that I can. When I talk to him, I try to tell him everything, and then we discuss it on the phone. But basically, I just make everything I just handle what it comes when it comes and do the best that I can.
There are other troops that I know that you know are in that room, and you're sitting with their husbands, wives, children. What would you say to those as you have a chance to speak for some of the other families? What would you like to say to them?
Well, they would pretty much all would just say, we love, we miss you, you know, be safe, take care of each other, come home safe. We're keeping the home fires burning. You just watch your backsides and come home. I mean, that pretty much sums it up right there.
Here is Matt Holliday, and a bouncer too short. Out there on to first and out. It's a double play, but after falling behind 5-0, the Cardinals have tied it up. It's 5-5, 6-4-3 on that double play, so a brand new game here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Before the final out of this inning, and I don't know if you're going to have a chance to talk to your husband, you know, anytime soon after this, just what else would you like to tell him? I'm really going to kick his butt for this. Because he told me this morning when he called, he goes, I'm going to tell you right now I love you because tomorrow you're really going to be mad at me. So, thanks a lot. I love you, honey. But you are going to get your butt kicked. Here is Berkman and a hot shot to first. Happy 50th birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up here.
Thanks.
God bless you guys.
Big wave, guys. Big wave.
Thank you.
Continues. I'm with Abby Milliker. Her husband is stationed in Afghanistan, and there's a twist.
because Abby's expecting, and I mean expecting real soon. How far along are you?
8.5 months. I've got about 4 weeks left.
Could be at any time. Obviously, a tough time for your husband to be overseas, but that's part of the deal, right?
That's part of the deal. We're just really supportive of each other, and he's helping me through it as much as he can.
You're not sure if he's able to see this, if he's watching right now, if he was able to find a place. What would you say to him?
Brett, I love you so much, and I can't wait for you to be home October 1st.
You also have a couple of your friends that are military wives. They want to give a shout out as well.
Jeremiah, I love you and miss you, babe. Sergeant Sutton, I love you and miss you and can't wait for you to come home.
We appreciate your commitment, and thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Guys, you got to respect that kind of commitment.
Great job, Jim. Thanks. It's 1-1 strike. Here's Juan Francisco. 5-5 game here in the top of the 6th. Who saw this coming? 5-5 after the Reds jumped out to a 5-run lead.
No, but, give Carpenter and his offense some credit. We just talk about it. Don't get your dauber down. Just pack away. Carpenter had that bad inning, but so far has been able to just regroup and throw up 3 more zeros. And, Carp, you just ask him to go a lot further. And Dan, the bullpen is so much more so much improved. Even if he doesn't go, 8 or 9 innings, you feel like you're covered.
I don't know if you had a chance, you had stepped away, but Dina Wendell was in the booth last half inning, and it was about as powerful as it gets. Her husband was wishing her a happy 50th birthday, and there's a fly ball, and he had taped that. So coming out of break, we rolled that. She saw that, she started to break down, obviously, and then had a chance to see her husband live in Afghanistan, and about as, it's the reason why we do this. It was about as neat as it gets.
Yeah, I remember the very first year we did this, we actually had a very long rain delay. You touched on it. It was that series against Boston, a couple hours. But in some ways, it made it even better because we had the transmission open and had a chance to talk to more of the troops, and it was very emotional. Remember, we found a father with his grandkids that was standing there on the rail and had a sign about Sergeant such and such, and then we found him in the crowd, and you got to see his father and his kids, and it doesn't get any better than that.
Ramon Hernandez, the hitter here. Then we'll see Cueto's spot, and you wonder if that'll be it for Johnny Cueto. They've got a right-hander getting loose in the pen, and becomes a bullpen game. I think you're right, Al. Well, you really look at what the Cardinals have done since the trade of Colby Rasmus. Mott has just been incredible, and collectively they have been very good. Arredondo is getting loose. 1-1 strike. Ground ball to third. Soft hands there by Freeze. 2 outs.
Cueto spot due up. Todd Frazier, I believe. Yeah, Todd Frazier is swinging the bat. He was a big hero, a little league hero. I think Tom's something in New Jersey. Kind of filled out. He was a shortstop originally, and he filled the roster spot of the disabled Scott Rowland, who is here and starting to swing the bat better.
The Cardinals knock out Cueto. How big is that? They've got Homer Bailey on Saturday, tomorrow, and then Arroyo on Sunday. Garcia goes for the Cardinals tomorrow, then Edwin Jackson on Sunday.
Carpenter's cleat stuck at that one, but Frazier hitless on Tuesday. That snapped a 5-game hitting streak. At Louisville, he hit .260, 15 home runs, 46 RBIs in 90 games.
Hits it down the right field line. Well hit, and that ball is gone. It's off the pole in right. Opposite field home run. Todd Frazier, 6-5 Cincinnati. On a 1-1 pitch, puts the Reds back on top.
Plato has a chance to be the winner in this game now. The Cardinals have to come back again. Just down and away, and it just hits off the foul pole. That ball just carried, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you thought it was still back in the Little League World Series.
Here's Brandon Phillips with 2 outs and nobody on. Nasty cutter again by Carpenter. Phillips is struck out to start the game. Doubled. Picked up an RBI and a run scored in the second and grounded out to second in the fourth.
Something curious noticed about Carpenter. How the first inning, a lot of times guys are slow to start. Carpenter's only allowed 1 first inning run. But the inning that he's had the most trouble in is the second inning. It did him in here tonight with 5 runs. He has allowed 21 second inning runs.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. You know, you would think the first inning would be the one and then you settle in, but to have decent, only allow 1 run all season.
Phillips hit by the pitch. 0-2 mistake by Carpenter. Clearly not trying to hit him on that 0-2 pitch. You wouldn't think.
If you're going to do it and kind of disguise it, you know, you do it 0-2 and you do it with 2 outs. But there you see the second inning, 27 pitches thrown. They got 5 runs that inning. The fourth inning, he's allowed 14 runs. And now in the second inning, 21. And by far the most.
From the stretch now, it's Carpenter. Nobody getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen.
And a lot of times you say a good starter, you've got to get them early before they find their groove and find their good release point. A lot of times you're talking about that, you know, if the guy gets through the first inning, you think he's going to be okay.
Strike 2, Renteria. Been on base 3 times, pair of singles and a walk.
Throwing 100 pitches, and a lot of pitches were hittable early. Now you're starting to see him getting underneath a couple cutters and the ball just spinning up there.
Carpenter is due up 4th. Freeze, Molina, and Terrio coming up bottom half of the 6th.
Carpenter really didn't start winning this year until they started extending him.
It really was the
beyond
case.
100 pitches. Part of it was trying to get him some wins, allow him to stay in the game longer, see if the offense would come from behind. You know, a guy as big as he is and as strong as he is, he said he's felt great all season long and he's maintained his velocity all year.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Remember when Renteria got that game-winning hit in '97 for the Florida Marlins? I was on a trip, military trip, with 3 other ex-ball players. Went to Germany, Bosnia, Hungary, got turned over to the Navy, Italy, Sardinia, and Sicily, and then rode to Spain.
Pretty good trip. Freeze coming up. Cardinals trail by a run. Also joining the This One's For You broadcast tonight from forward operating base Finley Shields is the ADT-5 based in Afghanistan.
They got a very important mission. That group, the ag group, that try and teach the villagers and the farmers that you can have a sustainable crop, something other than poppy seeds and the poppy plants.
They were with us last year.
Yes, they were.
There's a ball to David Freese and a new pitcher in for Cincinnati.
Jose Arredondo. You started the season recovering from Tommy John's surgery. And he did have another stint on the disabled list with his little strained forearm. Last 3 appearances, he's 1 win and 2 losses. See, he's got a pretty good arm. This young man that was in the Angels organization, and then he had the right elbow, the Tommy John surgery. He signed with the Reds as a minor league contract January of last season.
Oh, at the head of David Freese. And it's a full count. David has a base hit tonight. Single RBI in the 2nd inning. Also grounded into a double play in the 3rd.
Ball just got away from him, but David's already had 1 concussion this season. I'm sure he got away from him, but you know, after Phillips gets hit, people start raising eyebrows.
High fly ball, deep right field. To the track, at the wall, we are tied. David Freese, opposite field home run. Number 9 this year, and it's 6-6.
Well, you know, David's missed. Yeah, that'll be. David's missed a lot of time. Had the broken hand. You know, the ankle injuries the last couple of years, you kind of wonder what's he going to do if he gets a full year. He's already set a career high in home runs with 9 and RBIs now, 2 tonight at 46. High fastball, and his natural power stroke is out to right field, and he just demonstrated it.
17 hits seen in this ball game. 2nd opposite field home run. And 12 runs combined. Carpenter, Cueto, and here's Molina in the air to right field. If you like offense, this has been the place to be.
There.
Nicely done.
Good fan. Gives it the youngster and hits everybody. I caught it on the fly. God damn, we thought we were going to have a pitcher's duel, and right now we're seeing a good ball game. If you like offense.
That's right. Here's Ryan Theriot with 1 out, nobody on. Reds jumped out to a 5-run lead. 5 runs, 6 hits back in the 2nd inning. Cardinals picked up 2 in the bottom half of the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th. That tied it up 5-5. Top of the inning. Opposite field home run for Frazier off the foul pole in right. And now this home run by David Freese moments ago, 6-6. Lefty Zipchinski getting loose in the pen, and Chris Carpenter's at the on-deck circle. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Bill Bray and the lefty warming up for the Reds. Zipchinski, a lefty warming up for the Cards.
Fly ball into right. 2 outs. Fox Sports Midwest is showing this game without commercial enhancements. We'd like to thank all of our loyal and gracious sponsors for allowing us to bring this game to you. and our troops all over the world.
Patterson's going to pinch hit for Carpenter, so both starters are out of this game. Carpenter. Cardinals can rally and get a run here, get on top. Maybe Carpenter still get a win. Zepchinski been very good out of that bullpen, and you look to think he'll throw multiple innings. So really one really bad inning for Carpenter, but battles his way through and has given his team a chance to win.
Ouch. Foul ball off the leg of Corey Patterson.
Patterson had a pinch RBI double and scored Wednesday. Obtained from the Blue Jays on July 27th. Cubs are his 6th major league club.
Rafael Furcal with a home run tonight. 3 straight games for the first time since back in '04 that Furcal has done that.
Makes a difference when he gives you a little offense too, doesn't it? Because he gives you the great defense.
And Patterson strikes out, but David Freese has tied it up. This one's for you tonight on Fox Sports Midwest, televising to our troops in Afghanistan. They'd love to see that. Tied up 6-6. To the troops or families via Twitter or text message at FS Midwest with the tag TOFY, or text your greeting to 432-432. Message and data rates do apply. Zepchinski into the ball game, and this is Joey Votto, who's at the plate. And a strike at the knees.
Zepchinski this year has held lefties to a 160 average with only 3 extra base hits. But the Cardinals see him as more of a guy that can eat up some innings.
And that's a big out right there. Joey Votto first out here in the top of the 7th.
Even a potential starter.
So before the trade, Zipchinski 2-3 with a 2.97 ERA, pitching in the American League East with Toronto. Comes over to St. Louis, and this guy has been fabulous. 13 games ERA that's under 1.
Now those are good numbers. You have a sub-3 ERA in the American League East. You know, you're pitching, but you're seeing what he can do here in the National League.
Strike 2, Jay Bruce. Off the end of the bat, weird spin on that baseball, and it gets into left field. Bruce thought about going for 2 and stops right there. Freese started going towards the line, and I guess the spin took it the other way. Little cue shot.
That's it. Put some chalk on it.
Man, oh man.
From this angle, you should get a pretty good idea of how this ball. Look at it go. Just spin, goes the other way, and just totally eludes.
Al, how hard it was hit with that spin. You don't see it like that. You know, normally if it's spinning, it'll come back to you a little bit, or you're able to make a better reaction.
Coming off the bat of a left hand, you'd think this ball would go into the corner towards the bag, but it hit right there in the dirt and took a turn. And really no chance for David Freese.
Can't really fault him on that one.
No. Zipchinski makes a good pitch, doesn't get rewarded.
Now it's Yonder Alonso.
Kind of looked at this lineup where Dusty had Votto, Bruce, and Alonso, 3 straight left-handed batters. Just telling you, defying you to bring in a lefty.
Cardinals with a right-hander getting loose, and this is hammered deep right, and the Reds go back on top with a 2-run homer. Yonder Alonso, his 4th of the season.
We talked about that he's swing the bat a little bit, but really don't have a position for him. The troops didn't like that. Neither did the fans here. Boggs is warming up for the Cardinals. Ondrusik warming up for the Reds. And we had, 7 home runs in the game yesterday? And the 0-1 pitch, see, totally misses location. Yachty wanted the ball away, and he left it on the inner part of the plate. And it wasn't cheap.
391 feet. So 14 runs in this game, with a game that's started by Cueto and Carpenter. Keep harping on it, but we did expect to see a pitcher's duel.
That's the beauty of baseball, that you never know what you're going to see. Now, a lot of things said that this was going to be a pitcher's duel. Carpenter is 14-2 against the Reds. Cueto has the major league's best ERA. But that's the beauty of baseball. Any given day, you know, somebody could jump up and be a star. There have been a lot of guys that had their hitting shoes on tonight.
Cardinals will have the top of the order coming up for Cowell, Jay, and Pujols. Redbirds have never had a lead in this game. Trailed 5-0, then 6-5, and now 8-6.
The good thing about Zipchinski is just because you have right-handers, you don't have to take him out. But you know, the lefty-righty thing is way overblown. You make good pitches, you get people out. You can have the right matchup, lefty against lefty, but make a careless location or a bad pitch, and then you can get burned.
And now he walks Drew Stubbs, and his speed is on base. Little hiccup here tonight for Zipchinski. A very important game for the Cardinals. Milwaukee trailing in the bottom of the 6th, 2-0 to Houston. And every game at this point, Al, must win.
Yeah, you really do. And you know you have to win your ball game, and then you hopefully somebody can provide a little help. You can take care of things head to head when you face the Reds starting Monday, but .35 steals sitting over there at first base. Picked off a couple times, been caught 8 times.
One out, runner at first. That's Stubbs. Runner goes. Good jump by Stubbs, and no chance for Molina. There was also a breaking ball, 0-2.
A little slider from Molina, throwing very well. You see a little breaking ball, slow pitch, and just have to concede the stolen base, number 36.
And a strikeout of Juan Francisco.
Got to be it after the strikeout. Gets him to chase the ball off the plate with a slider. Tony walk out there, and you assume the Boggs will be coming in. So Zebchinski, the first time he really had a rough outing for the Cardinals, he allows a 2-run home run. Boggs coming in. Reds are up 8-6, and we'll just step aside and be back with more Cardinal baseball. Appearing for the 46th time. He has pitched all over the map. He's been a setup man, a closer at one point. He even got sent to the minor leagues, came back up, and his job is to hold the Reds in this frame or as long as he goes and let the offense get back on track.
Big Cardinal fan turns 4 today, Brendan McGee, and he's watching, and his papa is directing our game, Tom Mee. So happy 4th birthday to Brendan McGee. Ramon Hernandez with the runner at second base. 2 outs. Cardinals have been out hit 10-9. They trail 8-6. Brian McCann producing tonight. And I want to thank our crew for being able to pull this off and televised back to Afghanistan. You might imagine it's not an easy thing to do. And they do it flawlessly.
They're the best in the business.
Ooh, that one scoots through Molina. Dan Hyatt, big help today. Tom Mee, Brian McCann, our entire Fox Sports Midwest crew. Kevin Landy, our executive producer. He's been up and down, making sure everything's going all right.
Can't thank FAN and also the Missouri National Guard for their help.
1 ball, 1 strike. Alan Flowers helped out as well. Works over at Fox Sports Midwest. And you, the fan, for texting in and your tweets to the troops. We talked to some of the families afterwards, and it means so much to them. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball to second. Top of the lineup coming up. 8-6. Time to stretch here in St. Louis.
To the troops, the guys protecting our freedom. This is Kathy Nicholson. She has a boyfriend overseas. In fact, he's part of the 1138th, so he's watching that right now. And Kathy, would you like to say something to your boyfriend, James McCullough?
Would. Baby, we love you. We're all good. We miss you. Please come home safe and come home soon.
How often do you get a chance to talk to him?
About once a week if he's on base. If he's running missions, we can go days.
Just being around these folks tonight, I know it's a great support system.
It's awesome. It's awesome. We're all going through the same thing. We're all leaning on each other. It's incredible.
All right, now over here is Angela Lewis. She has a fiance that you want to give a shout out to.
Hi, Jack. Me and the twins love you. We miss you. We're very proud of you, and please come home safe.
And over here is Emmy. And Emmy misses her daddy who's stationed overseas. Do you want to say something to your daddy? Say it again.
Hi, Daddy.
There you go. Hi, Daddy. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Good stuff, Jim. Thanks. The lefty Bray takes over for Cincinnati. Gorgeous night here in St. Louis. There's a look at Bray, the lefty, getting loose. Bill Bray, his 70th appearance on the year. Heisey takes over in left field. It'll be for Cowell. And then John Jay and Albert Pujols. There's Heisey. Got the Cardinals for a couple of home runs in one game earlier this year. So Cowell leads it off for the Redbirds. He is homered tonight, and he's homered in 3 consecutive games. You get the feeling, Al, this one is far from over the way it's gone tonight.
Absolutely, and a lot of it could be for Carl's doing. He's already had a home run, like you said. The switch hitter moves over to the right side. That's his natural side, and really should be more of his power side. In the Milwaukee series, when he had back-to-back leadoff home runs, he did it from each side of the plate. Bill Bray is making his 70th appearance. You're in that bullpen for Dusty Baker. You're not going to be complaining about lack of work, are you?
Not at all. They're in the top of the 7th, and Houston leads Milwaukee 2-0. So this game just grows with importance as you see the outs starting to trickle away for Milwaukee and a chance to pull within 6.5. Here's a 1-0 pitch for Cowell, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. See for Cowell taking a little peek down at third. Still has pretty decent speed.
That's an old Brett Butler trick. You know, if the third baseman had kind of a rough or poor bat in the inning before, you drop down a bunt. Still thinking about the bad at bat, and you catch him flat-footed.
Such a smart play. So many players you talk to, even at this level. And here we go again for Cowell. High fly ball out to deep left, and the catch is made on the track.
He just came in the game and gets tested right away.
About to say that even at this level, these guys make sure and you know, they take it to the field. You know, you think about that previous at bat.
That's right. Happy birthday to Betty Skinner in Fulton, Missouri, who is celebrating her 80th birthday today. Thank you, Betty, for being part of Cardinal Nation for 80 years. Happy birthday.
Shelby Miller tonight, 8 innings, 2-hit baseball, shutout, 9 strikeouts. Like to hear that. And there's a strike on the outside corner to John Jay. Talking with John Busch today, the Cardinals farm director, and they have a closer in Memphis as Jay is hit. Tying run will come to the plate, but they picked up when Salas and Sanchez earlier this year had to be called up after the injuries in Arizona, and basically for nothing from the Kansas City system. Now he's got 30 saves.
Yeah, he's leading the minor leagues in saves, right? And Drusick is warming up. Looks like he'll probably come in to face Albert.
Pujols coming up. Tying run at the plate. It's 8-6.
Medium Transportation Company out of St. Louis, Missouri, currently assigned with the 101st Sustainment Brigade at Bagram Airfield in Afghanistan. I'd like to give a shout out to my lovely wife Sherry and my family from Essex, Missouri. I love you and I miss you. And hit me a home run, Albert. Go Cards.
Oh, perfect timing.
You bet. Right on cue. It's 8-6. Tying run at the plate. That's Pujols here in the bottom of the 7th. Logan Andrusik, big guy, comes in, right-hander, 59th appearance. You're right-handed, left-handed, it doesn't matter. Dusty will use you.
Well, here's the thing on Andrusik. You know, he was right among the pitching leaders in appearances and relief innings. He had posted a 153 in his first 14 appearances. Then he went on the DL with a strained right arm. And in 7 appearances right prior to going to disable this, he had a 14.5 ERA. So he's made this will be his 3rd appearance since being reinstated from the DL.
8-6. Pujols at the plate. Represents the tying run. And Albert looks at a strike. Struck out in the first and has a pair of hard hit singles. 2 for 3. Averages jumped to 294. Started the night at 292. Outfield deep. Guys in Afghanistan on the edge of their seat, just like everybody here at Busch Stadium. The 1-1 pitch to Pujols.
Off speed pitch at him way out in front. Here he was right there, and then the bottom fell out of it. Andrusik is 6'8", 228. He looks like he reaches out and steps and grabs you.
Andrusik never looked up before he delivered, and time had been called in plenty of time to be granted.
But once again, if you get that far in your windup, just go ahead and execute a throw. By trying to stop is when you can hurt yourself.
1-2. Pujols in the hole. What does Andrusik want to do here? Mislocation, and John Jay on his way to second base and in there safely.
Cardinals already hit into 2 double plays. That's been their really killer this year with 145. Add 2 more, 147. So you get that secondary lead. There you see the couple steps, then he sees the ball get away from Hernandez, and he's off and puts himself in scoring position.
Now the 2-2 pitch to Albert Pujols. Full count, Holiday on deck, and then you have Berkman. No give in this lineup at this point.
See how deep they are. They want a ball over their heads, so it stays in the park.
Jay thought about going to third, made the wise choice to stay put. So from 1-2, he walks Pujols, and now here is Holiday. Wouldn't it be nice to see number 201 hit right here?
Phillips in to talk to Andrusik, but Holiday, you mentioned, hit 200 yesterday in Milwaukee. And what a perfect time to get 201 and Cardinals their first lead of the night. But right now we'll just take a little base hit and RBI.
1 out, and Berkman is on deck. Holiday did hit into a double play. He struck out and walked and scored a run. That was back in the 2nd inning. They're straight away for the Cardinal left fielder. 2 on, 1 out. Time is called. Not Andrusik again. This time it was called by the catcher.
Yeah, he's going out
still
there.
Didn't complete his throw to the plate.
He's going out there to make sure they're on the same page, and maybe he might have second guessed himself after giving a signal. He'd already thrown a pitch or 2 with the runner at second base, so.
Al, don't you normally in your windup at least try to pick up the target a little
you're told
earlier than what he's doing?
That. But remember Fernando Valenzuela,
Yeah.
he would look to the stars.
That's right.
It does kind of, alarm the hitter when they don't look in.
Or when you go behind the mound and pound your glove and
no, they didn't do anything.
Stomp around.
Ryan Duran, would always wear Coke bottle glasses, and he threw extremely hard, and he would throw one at the on deck circle warming up.
Holiday out in front, hits it high in the air out to center field. And it's up to Berkman, who has delivered already tonight. How good has he been in the clutch this year? Lance Berkman, Votto, Pujols, Kemp, Berkman all on this list. Most home runs to give the team a lead when trailing or tied. 13 times he's done it.
Well, we'll let him tie Albert and Kemp.
The tying runs are on. The go-ahead run at the plate in Berkman. Berkman, high fly ball, center field, near the wall, and that'll stay in the ballpark. He gave it a ride near that 400-foot sign. The Cardinals strand 2. 8-6 as we head to the 8th.
I wanted to send my sincere thanks to our service members and military families watching here and abroad. You make our country so proud every day, and all of us here at the White House truly appreciate your hard work and selfless dedication to America. God bless you and your families, and I hope you enjoy the Reds-Cardinals game, because this one's for you.
This one's for you. We continue. Lance Berkman gave it a ride to the 400-foot sign, and we thought we may have had a lead.
Oh, yeah! Get it! No. Warning track power.
Warning track power.
Oh.
Not quite.
I could say something, but
30 home runs,
he's the hero.
But that was the reaction of our troops in Afghanistan. They've got the rally caps out as well. Rally caps in Afghanistan. Sometimes I like the delay because we say something and you wonder what kind of reaction you're going to get. Well, we just check in 6-8 seconds later and you find out.
This is Chris Heisey, who just went in and played left field last inning.
1 ball, 1 strike. Second inning of work for Mitchell Boggs. 8-6 Cincinnati. Top of the 7th.
Rhodes is getting ready for the lefties, but hopefully Boggs will have 3 up, 3 down.
You saw there was top of the 7th. Apparently Milwaukee with the bases loaded and Braun at the plate with 2 outs. Keep an eye on that. That might be the ball game right there. 2-2 on Heisey. Heisey and then the top of the lineup. Phillips and Renteria. That's in the dirt.
Heisey yesterday belted a 3-run pinch hit home run off of Vance Worley. He had a game against the Yankees on June 22nd. He had 3 home runs and 5 RBIs, both career highs. 13 home runs, 41 RBIs for a guy coming off the bench.
And again, that home run was against the Phils. Here's a ground ball. Nice. Soft hands over there by Freese. He picks it and makes the play. Heisey got down the line pretty well, made that close. Good play by David Freese. By the way, the Phillies with that win yesterday, Al, are now 41 games above 500. 41.
I think you're having a pretty good year. Before the Cardinals went in, you see the ball didn't really look like it played it real sure-handed, but got the job done. But before the Cardinals went in and swept Milwaukee, they were talking about, well, we haven't done anything, we got to catch Philadelphia.
Here's Brandon Phillips. We'll keep you updated on that Milwaukee game, and Houston changing pitchers to face Ryan Braun with the bases loaded. 2 outs in that ball game, and again Milwaukee trailing by 2 runs.
A lot of Milwaukee players that you kind of like, who are they? Excuse me, Houston players. And
there's a rope out to left. Base hit. Nice night for Phillips.
Two for 4. And reached base another time, being hit by a pitch. Lean a slow walk out to Boggs. Could be giving Arthur Rhodes more time. After Renteria, you have 3 consecutive left-handed batters, starting with Votto.
David Carpenter now pitching for Houston. He comes in, throws a wild pitch. It's 2-1. Here's Renteria. 1 out runner at first. David Freese over at third, in a couple of steps. Pujols holding at first. Big gap in left center. Ooh, nearly to the backstop at 95 miles an hour from Boggs. The course of one deal, you like how the bullpen has taken shape for this year and also looking ahead to next season. Eduardo Sanchez, Lance Lynn, who was moved to the 60-day DL today to make room for Shane Robinson. They have a power arm in Boggs. You got a power arm in Mott. Salas, who's done a very nice job at times closing. Zipchinski, you know what he brings to the table, despite his little hiccup tonight. But bullpen looks pretty good.
And what you like too is, like you said, a lot of power arms. Now, where's McClellan? You know, how does he fit? Back in the bullpen or back in the rotation?
Ryan Braun, a 2-run single. 3-2 Milwaukee.
Well, you can't really expect Houston to give you much help. So you've got to win your own ball games, and then if they can squeak out a win, you know, say Wandy Rodriguez or something like that, but you have to do it yourself.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Ground ball left side. Freeze. Out at second. It's a double play. Nice turn. Head to the bottom of the 8th. David Freese, Yadier Molina, and Ryan Theriot. 8-6 Reds. financial enhancements. We'd like to thank all of our loyal and gracious sponsors for allowing us to bring this game to you and our troops all over the world. Been a lot of fun for us. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And most importantly, we hope the troops have enjoyed it and their families. So Chapman is in the ball game. We saw him really basically, Al, just lose control in front of our eyes. A few months ago, they sent him to the disabled list to get right, basically. And the flamethrower is in, so we'll see what he's got tonight here in the 8th inning.
And he's pitched a lot better since coming back, but it was almost painful to watch how he just could not throw strikes. He is throwing strikes now. You see the 62 strikeouts in 40 innings. And, you know, the 32 walks doesn't reflect how poorly his control was at that one stage. He's had a 2.36 ERA since returning from the DL. They labeled it left shoulder inflammation, but it was like you said, somehow, some way, get control. And you get your wish. You get to see the flamethrower. I get my wish. The Cardinals come from behind.
Again, another look at the families of the troops that we have been talking to over in Afghanistan. And here is David Freese against Chapman. Freese, an opposite field home run. That pitch at 100, long throw, and an out.
The problem with Chapman, and he has thrown a pitch, is recorded at 105. Cuban defector, you see the long arms, really gets that extension and finish, but he's got a pretty good breaking ball to go along with it, and a changeup that, you know, gives the Reds that kind of the swing in a year or two, you know, where they want to put him in the rotation.
It's Paul Janisch out at shortstop. They've really tried to simplify the mechanics by having him work from the stretch. And now maybe you can speak to that, the big difference that you find being from the stretch or a windup.
Well, it really shouldn't have any difference. A lot of people think that you throw harder from a windup. Well, this guy doesn't need any help in throwing hard. But really, when you where you lift the arms over your head, or you're moving, you know, backwards, trying to get some kind of rhythm, you eventually come to that set position like you are, you know, throwing out of a stretch.
You also wonder in Dusty Baker and the back of Chapman's mind when you get to 3-0. Here we go again. Start thinking a little bit about that. Nobody getting loose in the bullpen for the Reds, and there's a strike, 3-1.
See, basically drops down to 98.
Drops down.
Drops down to try and just ease one over for a strike.
And that's a walk, so tying run comes to the plate, Ryan Theriot.
That's why you want to be very patient. This could be a good at bat, because Theriot, you know, is not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. He'll work the count with the pitcher.
Should mention again, so that's the, let's see, 33rd walk for Chapman in 40 2/3 innings. Opponents came in hitting just 152 against him.
It wasn't that anybody was knocking him off the mound. It was just that he was taking himself off the mound with his poor control earlier.
And that's a ball at 98. Tight game like this, Al, you also wonder what kind of leash Chapman is on from Dusty Baker. Nobody getting loose in the bullpen.
Like I said, since his return from the DL, he's pitched very well, 2.36 ERA, and a lot of strikeouts.
I want to take not just 1, but maybe 2 strikes. And Chapman, you could see the body language. He's frustrated.
Yeah, he's just, you know, he is signaling that. You watch a pitcher's body language, and Dusty Baker goes, okay, well, he's telling me that he's not comfortable out there. I might have to get somebody warmed up. Nobody is to this point.
And it's not like he's just missing. He's missing by a good half foot some of these pitches.
Now when Craig is on deck, I don't think you really have to tell Theriot to take a strike. I think he knows in his own mind pretty fundamentally sound, knows how to play the game the right way. And as I said, he understands making a pitcher work.
3-0. Body language, look at that right now. Again, maybe I'm reading into it, but I'll ask you, Al, you played the game a long time. It looks to me like a guy that's frustrated right now.
It doesn't look like he's trying to protect a 2-run lead. It looks like he's just trying to throw a strike, and it's not happening.
Back-to-back walks. They've got a right-hander getting loose right now.
Nick Massett will be getting ready, and probably quickly. Brian Price, the pitching coach, will out to talk to him.
We don't have the luxury to see the kind of situations he was brought in since his recall. And here you are in a tight spot. Heated rivalry. These two teams late in a ball game. And maybe that has a little something to do with it right now, too. Don't know.
Well, unless you can bring him in, you see Price, who doesn't speak Spanish, is telling Hernandez, and then Hernandez has to translate it. Cincinnati kind of surprised the baseball world by signing Chapman, a Cuban defector, to like a $30 million contract. Outbid everybody else for his services, and you don't see Cincinnati, a small market team like that, doing that, but they got a real prize if he can throw strikes.
To me, Al, it makes sense if you are Cincinnati or a small market team to do that, to take a chance, because if he pays off like you think he can, $30 million is a steal.
No doubt about it.
See if Craig takes a strike here. 1 out, 2 on. No balls, 1 strike on Craig.
It's pretty good test for Alan Craig. Can get around on a high octane fastball.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2. Furcal is on deck. That pitch at 97. The troops have their rally caps on.
I think they want to celebrate.
I would think so too. 0-2 pitch. Craig hits it up the middle. Phillips, can he get it out of the glove? He does. Saves a run.
Solid contact by Alan Craig, and a Gold Glove second baseman stops that ball becoming a RBI single.
Well, it's been 3 games in a row. Rafael Furcal has gone deep, and he almost hit another one as he hit one to the track in left center field. Good speed of Furcal at the plate. He represents the go-ahead run. The tying runs are on, and the Cardinals will at least have Jay, Pujols, and Holiday one more time tonight, and possibly Lance Berkman.
First half of the season, a lot of 2-out RBI base hits.
One pitch. Make it 0-2. You mentioned the breaking ball, and we haven't seen it from Chapman. I bring that up because Furcal was right on that pitch. That breaking ball is a nasty slider. When he's right, Al, they say it's one of the best, if not the best slider in baseball. It's that good.
And a lot of times when that pitch like that, it's not a strike either. But you can't make an adjustment.
Base hit into right. Craig on his way to third. He is safe as the throw is cut off. How about that? An 0-2 mistake. The tying run is now at third base. Go-ahead run is at first.
I was watching Chapman after that ball got through the infield. He almost stood there in disbelief. How can you hit that pitch? There's another fastball right down the middle. Little inside out swing. It'll shoot by Alan Craig. Molina scores. And Alan Craig goes to first and third. And here comes Shane Robinson. We talked about that collision for Shane Robinson, but multiple facial fractures, right?
Correct. They say this guy really came back and put together a nice year. Bounced back and forth from AA and AAA. Now, I don't know if you've ever looked at his college numbers, but he was a fantastic college player.
Sugar Shane Robinson.
You bet.
He could be an instant folk hero again. I think Tony set up his smallest guy. Narrow the strike zone.
Pujols on deck.
And to get the feeling Shane, and he's been here before in a couple years, and like you said, they had to get him on the roster. Can he extend the inning, bring up Albert?
One-0 pitch to Robinson instead of check. Oh, they almost threw it away.
Well, he's had 4 pickoffs this year, so you've got to pay attention.
One ball, one strike with 2 outs. Runners at the corners. The troops have the rally caps. They've got the hungo. They didn't like that last strike call.
They're into it.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Robinson. Another check on for a call. You wouldn't think that he'd be going anywhere.
There's a matchup of the July 4th ball game between Carpenter and Cueto, which ended a little different, 1-0, and it was the 8th inning when Mark Hamilton got an infield single to score the only run of the game.
2 balls and 1 strike.
One thing about Robinson, I think Tony sent him up there because he's got a good batting eye, won't expand the zone. He'd love to be the hero and hit a 3-run home run, but it's more likely he's got a chance to walk.
The 2-1 pitch. Popped up to the right side. And that will get down. 2-2. Talk about the available position players from the right side. Remember, Schumacher, Patterson, Descalso all left. And then you have Laird, Craig, and Robinson. So Laird, keep him on the bench, your backup catcher. 2-2. Did not go.
Oh, boy, he even thought he would as Robinson was heading towards the dugout. And he got a reprieve by Angel Campos, and the Reds can't believe it. I think if you saw the replay, you would see that he does commit to this pitch.
How about Robinson? He's walking.
Now watch, he's walking to the dugout right after that. And somehow our first base umpire is missing a good game, to the delight of the Cardinal fans.
Here's a 3-2. Puts it in play. Bouncer to Phillips. The Cardinals edge a little bit closer with a run here in the bottom of the 8th. 8-7. Reds on top as we head to the 9th. 7-10-0 for St. Louis. As we move to the top of the ninth, Cardinals have never led in this game. Milwaukee now with a lead in the top of the eighth. It's 5-2. Some changes for the Cardinals. As Casey McGee hits a 2-run homer for the Brewers. Robinson stays in the game. He is in center field. And Arthur Rhodes takes over, 9 appearances. 0-1 record. That was a home run he allowed to Garrett Jones in Pittsburgh.
See the numbers. Arthur Rhodes a year ago at this time was pitching for the Reds, coming out of their bullpen. Then he went to Texas and released by them. The Cardinals picked him up. He's over 800, and I think this is 891st second appearance for him now.
And he's greeted with a base hit by Votto. Pitch that was up. Votto on base to start the ninth. Cardinals with a right-hander throwing in the bullpen.
Like
this is Jay Bruce.
Arthur Rhodes will get out of this inning. And then how about back-to-back home runs? And we go home.
That would be nice.
Albert Holiday, very capable.
Got Pujols, Holiday, Berkman coming up. How about a double play ball? It's off the glove of Terrio, but they'll get the lead man.
He hung with it. A really hard hit ball and really didn't have the time to get in front of it, but deflected it, stayed with it. Didn't get the double play, but when you see him backing up like that, he got a hop that he really couldn't charge or anything like this, but knocked it down, and at least they got the lead man.
Miguel Cairo will pinch hit.
Miguel Cairo was telling me that he got a call from, or his agent got a call from Ruben Amaro Jr., the general manager of the Phillies, and said, how would you like to, we're maybe thinking about the possibility of you being our first base coach next year. He goes, I'm having the best year of my career.
Right.
He goes,
why would I want to do that?
Yeah, I want to come back and play. And now that Cairo will hit, they'll go to McClellan.
Coming up in our post-game show.
Kyle McClellan, 17 starts to begin the season, and now his 32nd appearance overall. pitched very well, where first 3 years of his big league career were down there in the pen, and a very valuable guy in the pen, and then we saw how valuable he could be in the starting rotation.
So here is Cairo. 93 games, hitting .264, 7 home runs. He's driven in 31.
Last couple years for the Reds, he's come up with a lot of key base hits.
Good guy, good player. Been around a long time.
Seven home runs are a career high.
Down that third base line, and foul.
Still in good shape, still can run a little bit. Little playful act there with, and then probably comment to Tony. But Cairo really knows his role. Become a very good pinch hitter and a guy that very well respected in this game.
One for 4 against Kyle McClellan. Short lead at first. 0-1 pitch. Line fouled into the seats. Big Cardinal fan Therese Washburn watching tonight and recovering. Never misses a game, and want to give our thoughts and prayers to Therese Washburn. Wanted to make sure we got that out there. Season ticket holders followed the Cardinals for a number of years and watching tonight. Hope you're doing okay, Therese. 0-2 the count here on Miguel Cairo. 8-7 ball game. Off speed pitch popped up and out of play. Season ticket holders, night in and night out, come out to the ballpark. Cold weather, hot weather like tonight, rain or shine, they're here. And Therese has been a long time season ticket holder. Ooh, and that hits Cairo.
You could hear something, and the way he's not that good of actor, so it's got to have been his hand.
Listen in on this next one. And on the wrist to the forearm, I guess. Cairo says he's all right. Runners at first and second. McClellan trying to keep this a 1-run lead. Here's Drew Stubbs. It'd be tough to double up. His good speed.
Billy Hatcher's first base coach is laughing at him. Cairo.
Swing and a miss by Stubbs. Stubbs does have 15 home runs.
Swing any harder. Maybe that's why you have, with one more strikeout tonight, he has 181 strikeouts. Remember, a lot of the season he was a leadoff hitter. Does have tremendous speed, stole his 36th base, and he has power.
Breaking ball, nasty one. That's that kind of breaking ball that McClellan possesses. 12-6, and this will fool you. Look at that.
Like starting in on Stubbs, and that's where he started spinning away, and then it broke down. Kyle, that wasn't even one of his better ones.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Really does have that real good 12-6 that just almost starts at the top of the clock. And ball's right down to the 6. Sometimes you'll get a little sideways with it, and it'll get a little more spin on it. And then at times you'll hang one.
Like that. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Inning started with Arthur Rhodes and now McClellan.
You see Kyle a lot, with 2 strikes. That's the strikeout pitch, the curveball.
On the outside corner and a strikeout from McClellan.
.182. So a bunch of curveballs. Then he just freezes them with a fastball. Down and away.
Painted the outside corner.
Seems like the way Jerry Meals gets down low.
He is the home plate umpire and our crew chief tonight. So 2 down, runners at first and second. Juan Francisco will be the hitter. Outfield is straight away. Again, the Cardinals looking ahead to the bottom of this inning at Pujols, Holiday, and Berkman. Will it be a 1-run lead?
He lost the grip on his curveball. Spun it up there.
Milwaukee leading 5-2. That's in the bottom of the 8th against Houston in Houston. 2 balls and no strikes. Juan Francisco has the stylish look of turning his cap to the side. Can't do it with his helmet, but his picture from the Jumbotron here, he's got that stylish look that Al very much appreciates. 3-0.
Not as fashion oriented as you are, but there's that look you're talking about. Not a fan.
Here's a 3-0. Swinging away at 3-0. In the air, center field. Robinson back at the track, looks up, and it's gone. Oh. First home run, Juan Francisco.
Had a 5 RBI day. Remember back in the 2nd inning, he had a double, scored 2. Like a little cutter that broke over the middle of the plate, and he gave it a ride. Well, halfway up the grass in front of the batter's eye.
And with that blast, it may have taken the suspense out of this game. Now a 4-run lead.
I
Folks
know.
heading for the exits.
I know that Ed and Margaret Pipkin are not giving up on this game because they're celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary. Thank you for being lifelong Cardinal fans.
Two and 1. And that's a base hit into center field. Last shot of the families of the troops. Take a long look at them for our soldiers over in Afghanistan.
Thank those families for sacrificing their loved ones, letting them go serve our great country, and we'll make sure we bring them all home.
Dusty saying before the game that this was must win for them. Certainly must win for the Cardinals, too.
Well, you know what he actually said is, because Cueto was pitching, he said this is our must win. You know, that he told Walt Jocketty, he said, how would you like to have 5 Cuetos? So that's what Philadelphia has.
Pujols, Holiday, and Berkman coming up. The closer, and Dusty Baker not taking any chances with a 4-run lead, 11-7. And the big bats of St. Louis coming up.
Oh, he had him warming up, and right now, like you said, they want to secure this win. They still think they can catch the Cardinals. Cardinals going to have to win some games to keep that from happening. But of course, they have loftier sights set. Their sights are on Milwaukee. But looks like they could be losing a game to Milwaukee here tonight.
Francisco Cordero.
Cordero's been around a long time. Over 300 wins, or excuse me, 300 saves. Albert's 3 for 12 against him, 250 average.
First pitch, a strike right down the middle. Pujols on base 3 times, pair of hits and a walk. Once again, many thanks to our troops for getting up early and joining us in our telecast here tonight. St. Louis, the 1138th Transportation Company, got up at 4 in the morning in Afghanistan to join us.
And we also got the Ag Group we didn't talk to, but they were at least in on our broadcast. Thank you, gentlemen. Can't thank you enough for what you do, and get home, drive safe, and take care of yourself, and get home to your loved ones, because they're waiting for you.
Popped up right side. Votto, one away.
It's kind of literally drive safe, isn't it?
Very much so with those guys and the description of what they have to do driving the vehicles, the streets of Afghanistan, if you want to call it that, the roads in Afghanistan.
They're resupplying a lot of the outposts, and you know, and there's certain problems. They go in there for rescue missions.
Swing and a miss by Matt Holliday. They're in the top of the ninth. Milwaukee with a 5-2 lead. A 2-1 pitch. Hammered out to deep left. Goodbye. Home run, Matt Holliday. Line drive shot. And that's number 21 this year for Holliday.
And that's 201 that we've been talking about. Boy, what a difference that would have made if we had not allowed 3 runs in the top of this inning. Now, they haven't lost faith. Holliday was 0 for 7 against Cordero, and he just greeted him with the big fly. He gave this one a ride deep into left field and got out quickly. Maybe it's good. Berkman 0 for 15.
Berkman, high fly ball, left center, 2 outs.
David Freese actually is 2 for 3 off of Cordero. Not a save opportunity for Cordero, but he is 1 save shy of his 7th career 30 save season.
Freese with a home run tonight. Two outs, nobody on. 1 ball, 1 strike on David Freese. Cutter by Cordero, 1-2.
Sat right in the middle of the plate. Cordero's long career, 319 saves, ties Todd Jones for 14th all time. 2 shy of Jose Mesa.
Base hit into center.
Well, that's twice Freese has had a ball up and in. Last time it happened, he responded with a home run. This time he took a shot right back up the middle. Maybe we should hope for some more balls towards, you know, up and in on him.
Final live shot of the troops. Again, thank you so much for what you do for us. Pitch hits taken low by Yadier Molina. 2 outs. Runner at first. Cardinals down by 3 runs.
Somehow, some way, just keep on getting on base.
We have Terrio on deck.
A little 2-out rally here.
Lazy fly ball into right. This should do it, and it's over. 11-8. Big home run by Francisco. 11-8. The final tonight as Cincinnati takes game 1 of the weekend series here at Busch Stadium. That's secondary, though, to what we were able to do tonight. This one's for you. And can't thank the troops, their families, and you for being part of our telecast here tonight on Fox Sports Midwest.